Hello and welcome to the fourth task of the creative writing course. Last week we focused upon placing characters in their context, building up the larger world around them. In particular, we focused on two contexts. One that was small scale, and that was the various relationships that surround our central character, and one that was on a much larger scale, and that was the concept of world building. We looked at what exploring relationships allows the writer to do. Simple, functional things like pass on information, move the plot forward, but also, crucially, we talked about how relationships allow the writer to explore every facet, every personality trait of their protagonists, their main characters. There were a couple of types of relationships in particular that we talked about. There was the antagonist, who acts as the primary villain or impediment to our hero, and the foil character, whose purpose is to provide a stark contrast to our protagonist. That was the small scale. We then looked at the larger context, world building. The process of constructing the world in which our characters exist, in which our stories take place. We considered how things like setting, time period, type of society influences our characters, the relationships and the problems that they encounter. World building, we discussed, is a logical step-by-step process where we make a statement about the world we are creating, and then we ask, what then? What does that imply? What does that mean? If we start off, for instance, by saying our story takes place in the 18th century, well then we are restricted in terms of technology, we are restricted by the values and the structures of 18th century society. You make your statement, and then the logical consequences of that statement follow. And so, we move on to the task itself. This is going to be a slightly different task than the other tasks that you've done for the course so far. This time, I do not want a story. I don't want a narrative. I don't want dialogue. I don't even want characters. We're going to do a small bit of world building. We're going to invent a city. This is how we're going to do it. Make one statement about the city you are creating. Now, you can be fantastical if you want. Ghosts are real. Dragons are everywhere. Or you can do a simple twist on the world around you. Take one aspect and just turn it around. For instance, only women are allowed to hold power. Think then, what would be the logical outcomes of that statement? Then, I want you to write a page of a guidebook or a brochure, something that you would hand to a tourist. Tell us about the sights, the attractions, the local customs, perhaps a line or two about the history. Give us the flavour of the place. Use your best descriptive and evocative language. Introduce me to this place that you have invented and make me want to visit. You have 500 words. I look forward to seeing what you have come up with.